Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. The weather has been glorious this week. We finally have had several days of sun in a row. It seems like we've had a lot of rain, and again, it's going to be rainy this weekend. It was raining last. It's been rainy every weekend since spring began, I swear. But yeah, the weather this week has been so good. I've seen all the kids, which has been great. I saw Lila came out for a couple of days, and she actually helped me go through all my clothes I was considering for bringing on my cruise, but she wasn't, she was very encouraging, and it was just like, well, then I want to bring everything. I was trying to pare it down to like just the essentials because I hate to bring a lot of stuff. So I ended up with a big pile, and I was packing last night, and everything fit in the suitcase. Jason and I are sharing a suitcase, and it has to be under 50 pounds or we'll incur an extra fee. And I don't know why that just like extra baggage fees, I don't know why that is. That just bothers me so badly. Even after all the money you spent on vacation, it's like that fee, that's what will bother me. But anyway, so I weighed the suitcases this morning. The suitcase was like 40 pounds. But I'm like, well, is this accurate? So I'm like weighing it on different scales. Anyway, but then I'm like, I kept waking up last night thinking, I'm bringing too much. I'm bringing too much, and then I'm going to be overwhelmed with what I'm choosing to wear. Then I'm like, well, what can I get rid of? Because this goes with this and this and this, and it gives me options. You know, it's like, meanwhile, this is my art bag. This is all I'm bringing for art stuff. That's fine. No problem scaling back there because I know what I can do with that limited supplies. I feel much more comfortable with that. But it's like, oh, what will I need to wear? What will the dress code be here? And the dress code be there? And will it be hot? Will it be cold? I'm afraid of being too cold, which is probably crazy because I've been very warm these last couple days up here in Maine. I can only imagine what it's going to be like down in the Caribbean. But anyway, so I've been neurotically obsessing about that, which is par for the course. That's kind of my jam, neurotically obsessing about things. But I'm very excited to have a vacation. And then the funny thing was, I actually got a lot of my work done by probably Tuesday. Last week I was very overwhelmed. Like, how am I ever going to get everything done I need to get done before I leave? I've got a product launch coming out with Craft World next Friday, and I was and getting photographs done and getting videos scheduled and all that stuff. It's like, how am I going to get this? I was so overwhelmed, and so I don't know. I just felt like isn't even worth taking a vacation when you have to do so much work the weeks leading up to it, so you could take the time off. But then I actually had everything done ahead of time, and so I was able to hang out with Lila for a couple of days, which was really nice. And I was able to prep my vacation sketchbook. I'll have a video about that later, and it's not going to happen. Oops. Something, I didn't glue that in. But anyways, I just kind of like pre-populated the sketchbook with some ephemera, with some stamping. I'm actually going to add a little bit more, with some swooshes of paint and stuff, just so that I wouldn't be facing like the blank page and being like, ooh, nervous about that. So I was walking the dog yesterday, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm really ahead of the game. I'm not stressed out. Oh gosh, let's just knock on wood after I say that, right? And I'm walking, and I'm like, I should do a class on plein air. And that just like came into my mind. And then like by the time I was home from the walk, I had the whole class outlined in my brain. I ran to the computer. Honestly, I got home, put the dog on her run out back. She didn't want to come in yet. Ran to the computer, and I just started typing out, building the outline for the class. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I can film it throughout the year. I can film some step-by-step on location painting tutorials. And because I've always I've done a few on location videos on YouTube, but not very often, because it's kind of like, well, this is my hobby, this is what I do for fun. But then it's like, if I planned it in like, okay, I'm going to do a step-by-step painting tutorial of rocks in the ocean. I'm going to do, and just kind of plan it out like it's a regular work day, not my fun plein air with friends days. I think that would work out pretty well. And then I could do painting through the seasons, because Maine has distinct seasons. So we have spring, summer, fall, winter. I'm not a winter plein air painter, but I would like to find some sort of workarounds there, just so I could give some ideas for people that are in a colder climate or want to get out there in the cold. So what I plein air paint in different mediums. Like if I'm hiking or I'm going like on a trip where I'm flying somewhere, and I don't know if I'm gonna have a lot of time to paint, I do my little hip bag there, the little fanny pack, crossbody bag, whatever you want to call it, bum bag. With this very minimal stuff. But when I'm painting around here, I've got my French easel where I have a drawer for pastels, I have a drawer for oil paint, I've got my pochade box, which has acrylics in it, or gouache. I've got my my mini watercolor palette set I just showed you, and then I've got my kind of all day out painting with the girls bag, which has a seat and whatnot. So it's like, yeah, I've got, and I have a lot of different setups. I've got a car sketching setup. So, and I wanted to do a video at one point showing all my plein air setups, but I got overwhelmed. It's just like, I can't, you know, just, I was collecting footage, and it's just like, the longer I wait to do something, the less likely it is to get done, because I lose my enthusiasm and my energy for it. That's kind of like why I had this idea. I'm like, I have to outline this. I have to get this started. Like my colored pencil course, I started that like probably a year and a half before it actually released. So sometimes that's how it goes. And I was thinking with something like this, I could plan it out. I plan on planning it out through different seasons and different locations, because we have a lot of variety of location here. And then I'll have at least two bits of travel. I'll have my Italy retreat, which I can do some video for, and I have the cruise, which is in the Caribbean, which I can do some video for, which I know I'm not really working. In fact, I didn't get the internet package. I'm going to be offline. Jason's got the internet package, so if I do desperately need to check something, I can, but I plan on being offline for the entire week. But yeah, I think that would be great, because then you can have different scenarios, and I can, if I'm keeping that in mind that I'm working on a class, I can definitely look for teaching opportunities or teachable moments that, like if I'm doing something, especially if I'm out somewhere painting, even if I'm out somewhere painting with friends and I totally have a big either brainstorm or a big flub up, that's a perfect time to like grab the camera, explain what happened and how I fixed it. Or that, look, this happens to me too, and I've been plein air painting for 20 years, so it happens to everybody. You're never going to get beyond the, you know, this will still happen to you no matter how long you've been doing it, type things. And I want to make it accessible. The name of it's going to be plein air for everyone, and it's going to be accessible for, you know, different ability levels, different ages. If you feel uncomfortable hiking, if you need places you can drive up to, if you need places that are wheelchair accessible, because a lot of the most creative people in the world have struggle with disabilities. In fact, when I was teaching at the senior center, one of my best students was this man who lived probably quarter a mile away, I would say, in a senior living complex, and he used a wheelchair, and he would be at the senior center every day. Didn't matter if it was a storm, they hadn't cleared the roads yet, he would make it there. He would find a way. And the level of creativity that it takes to overcome obstacles like that would just make me like, ugh, I'm not leaving the house today, you know? And he would make it. It was important to him, so he would find a way. The more obstacles you come up with, the more creative solutions you have to find. I feel like that's why we have so many wonderfully creative people that have had to struggle with a disability or a mobility issue or something to that effect. So I definitely want to make sure that that's included. And the class could also be somewhat of a travel log. You know, maybe you're not really that into traveling, but you'd like to see somebody paint on location. Maybe paint along in your studio to that same, you know, that same lesson. You still get the painting tutorials, even if you don't feel like trudging out to something. So anyway, that's what's cooking in my brain right now. And I'm telling you, it's amazing what a little rest and vacation can do. Just knowing that I was all done, I was caught up, I didn't have anything I had to do for 2 weeks. Any things I had to have written and submitted to people were already done. Everything's out and approved and back to me. You know, it just feels very zen. So as someone who can't seem to take a break just being home, that's a good thing. And yeah, it just kind of sparks some ideas. So I'm really, really happy about that. Speaking of classes, this tutorial right here, there's a time lapse of this on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if that's going to show up very well because it's white and it's kind of, oh, let tip it like that away from the light. They're bottles, and these bottles also on Mother's Day, my sister and we met at Mom's house and we went to an antiques mall. There's this big, it's really big antiques mall, I guess you'd call it, just kind of like a rambling multi-storied bizarre building that's just packed with like different vendor booths, and it's called the Fairfield Antiques Mall if you're in Maine. And by the way, if you want some good antiques malls in Maine, you've got the Fairfield Antiques Mall, you got the Big Chicken Bar Antiques Mall, that's in Ellsworth, you've got the Schoolhouse Antiques Mall where I used to sell my stuff in Brewer. They're all over the place. I mean, those are just the ones that I'm probably the most familiar with, but they are everywhere. Anyway, I found this box, and what did I do with the box? Oh, it's right here. So this is the box. And actually, when I went to pay, there was 2 of these, and I only bought one. The price was marked as $7.95. When I paid, it was like under $7 because I think it was almost $7, like $6.70 or something. But it says like box of bottles found in Maine woods in 1890s to 1930s, and I'm like, and it was all taped over the top, so I could just kind of peek in there. I couldn't really see what was in there, and I'm like, oh, I'll take it. I'll take an $8 gamble. And so I got it home, I opened it up, I'm like, oh yes, that's going to be the still life for Critique Club. And it was so much fun. I used the Derwent Graphitin pencils because I haven't used those for a while, and I think that that's a kind of one of those supplies that a lot of people have, and a lot of people don't know what to do with. And because every time I post a graphitin tutorial, someone will be like, oh, I have these, I don't know what to do with them, thanks for the tutorial. So I think that's kind of common because it is kind of an interesting thing. It's colored graphite, it's tinted graphite, that's kind of sexy, that's kind of exciting. It's not just regular pencil. They're not like other pencils, they're graphite. So so it's kind of fun when you bring out something like that a lot of people have, and maybe even have and forgot about. Because those came out before the absolute flood of novelty art supplies that we've seen in like the last 5 years or so. So that was really fun to work with those, and we sketch it out together. I did take a reference photo, and I showed the reference photo, so if people want to print that out and trace it, totally can. But bottles are just rectangles. Look at this. What's a bottle? It's a rectangle. It's a rectangle with a little rectangle on top with some little pizzazzy edges. You know, it's not scary. I think people get overwhelmed with glass because it looks complex, or how do you make it look see-through, all of that, but it's really not as hard as you think. And I actually have a whole class on painting glass. It's called, so here's my naming, I am not great at it. Sometimes, I don't know, I think plein air for everyone, that's good, that's a good name. But it's called the watercolor glass class. It's got a rhyme in it at least. But anyway, I decided to put that on sale. So I'll link that down below, put the discount code there for you. It'll be a discount link, but if it doesn't show up, I'll have the code there too. For 30% off that class if you've been wanting to try it. Because it's a kind of a fun summer one because everything's light and effervescent. I filmed it in the summer, and there's like a beachy scene in there with sea glass and a note in a bottle, and I don't know, I think it's very summery. So great for taking those breaks when you're outside, it's hot, and you need to come in, get in the cool, and do a little painting before you go back outside again. So anyway, I'll link that down below. I'll link Critique Club down below as well, because that's another fun one. And if you don't have graphitin, don't worry, use regular watercolor pencils because the techniques are the same, and you'll just have more vibrant bottles, and that's a win-win. That's pretty too. There's no way to mess it up. If you could always even try some, like just a water-soluble graphite pencil and add some watercolor to it. I mean, there's so many different ways to get the look, but I do know a lot of people have the graphitint and want to play with that more. So so that's what's been going on the channel. Oh my gosh, I posted my my timing is impeccable. I posted my impending tariff doom haul of what I call it, my disgraceful impending tariff doom haul on Monday. That's been the most popular video probably in the last year on my channel, at least the last 6 months for sure. It had like 20,000 views. Most of the comments were very like, same girl, you know, I did the same thing. But the day I posted it was the day they announced that they're rolling back the tariffs to China, like rolling them back from 145% to like 30%. And so I did get a few comments saying, they just rolled them back. You did that for nothing. And I was like, yeah, I filmed this 2 weeks ago because I've been scheduling stuff out. I've been like preparing to take a week off for like a month. So I've been like scheduling stuff out so that I wasn't totally crammed the last couple days before I left. And yes, my timing's impeccable. And then there was a part 2, which will show up in a couple of weeks, because that was before I went to my sister's shop with my friends. I'd gone there kind of as a scouting mission, and then I went there with my friends afterwards. So it was, yeah. So anyway, I'm set for a while. I'm just gonna keep telling myself that. I'm set for a while. Stop looking at delightful, intriguing, inspiring art supplies because you've got plenty. You've got plenty, because really all you need to create fits in this bag, lady. Come on, give it the program. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. I've got so many fun things coming up. If you are in Maine, the plein air days at the Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens in Boothbay Harbor is happening in June. I believe it's like the 13th or 14th through the 16th or something. It's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's free. It's free for anybody painting. So if you're a painter and you want to go, grab your, like, you have to reserve a ticket. When I reserved mine, there were like still like 280 tickets left for like each day. And I'm going to go with my YouTube friends that, you know, Angela, Shanna, and Karen. We're going to go on Friday, and then, oh, I probably shouldn't say that out loud in case, guys, don't stalk them, okay? I know they're awesome, but don't stalk them. Don't worry, girls, I'll protect you if some crazy stalkers come after you. And then I'm going with my mom and sister on Sunday, so it'll be a lot of fun. It was so good for mom to get out. Dad was having a really good day, so he was able to be at the store all day, and it was just nice to go out and, you know, roam around an antique mall. Oddly enough, I'm the only one that bought anything, and I was saying that I hate shopping, but after that haul, people are going to be like, "Really, Lindsay? I don't think that means what you think it means." I hate physically going into stores and picking out things, but I did. I picked up some bottles. But then I get decision fatigue really, really easily in stores, so I can end up buying stuff that I'm like, I'm just kind of like overwhelmed, overstimulated, and then I end up buying something and I get home like, what did I buy this for? So that's why I really want to use it right away. I'm one of those people that has to like jump on something right away when they think of it or when they buy it. Otherwise it kind of like, it floats away in the ether and I forget about it. So bottles, check. Vacation art supply stuff, check. Vacation class, planer painting class, check. Yeah, I have a lot of, I like to have the plate spinning, I guess, because I do have a little bit of travel anxiety, so I think also prepping and planning and doing things like that are going to happen in the future help me not just kind of dwell, because when I was packing last night, at one point I'm just like standing and with holding two bathing suits, I'm like, how do I pick? I don't know what to bring. Lila said they all looked fine. They all looked good, but I don't know. I don't think this one looks good. But I already have 4 in my suitcase. How long does it take a bathing suit to dry in the Caribbean? I don't know. I live in Maine, you know? So I'm just kind of like, just standing there. I don't know what to do. And then I kept waking up thinking like, I haven't packed sunglasses, and typing it on my phone, like keeping a list going and typing it. And yeah. So I gotta check out the list, reconcile the list on my phone, and when I put my makeup on today, I kept out the things that I thought I would like to bring, because I don't have backup makeup because I don't wear enough to go through it before it expires. So I don't want to buy extras just to have in a travel bag. I don't travel enough. It would go bad before I would use it. I mean, worst case scenario is I bring it with me and I lose it or I break it because it's in a little glass bottle, like my foundation's in a glass bottle, and have to rebuy it. But that's a worst case scenario. I'm not like, I don't wear anything fancy. It's CoverGirl, for goodness sake. I can get that at Walmart, even if I can't find it at the grocery store. Usually I was like, if I can't find it at the grocery store, I don't need it. But for filming, I do need a pretty, like, what do you want to call it? Opaque or matte foundation. I don't wear this much makeup every day, but I will wear the same makeup, but I'll take like the foundation, I'll mix it with like my moisturizer, my sunscreen moisturizer, so it's more sheer, because it's a pretty opaque makeup, and I find that just with the lights you need much more to film with, but you look a little deranged like in real life, where it doesn't look like I hardly have any makeup on probably on camera except for like the lipstick. It's pretty, you know, it does in real life. But anyway, but if I play my cards right and I film Sat Chat in the morning, the day that I get all dolled up, by the evening it'll be worn off enough that if I have plans, I'll just refresh the lipstick and I'm good to go. I don't look as deranged, but yeah, you know, I like to get as much juice from the squeeze. I like to get as much payoff from the effort, I guess. Just like, going on vacation? Have you filmed a class on that specific art that you're going to do when you're on vacation? I don't know. But I don't know, I feel like I get kind of anxious if I don't have kind of like something to keep my brain busy, because if my brain is not busy on thinking something like that, you know what my brain's gonna think about? Planes crashing, and sharks, and all sorts of unpleasant things that will just wiggle their way up to the surface. So it's like my brain needs things to do, because if I don't give my brain things to do, idle hands, idle brain is the work of the devil. The idle brain will think up the worst case scenarios. So I can't go there. I gotta, and honestly, I think the travel, you know what? I've always done that. I've always had a travel go bag. Like even when I was a little kid, I would have a bag with coloring books and crayons in it, or watercolor paper and a little like set of Crayola watercolor paints, or like watercolor crayons, watercolor pencils, and watercolors. I was a very early adopter in the watercolor crayon. My first set of Caran d'Ache watercolor crayons. I don't even think they were called Neocolors back then. It was like a set of 10, and I was really young. I was young enough that I was too young to be left home alone, and my dad was going to do some work. He was a contractor, and so I remember vividly riding in the truck with him, and he had it was raining, and he was probably burning some land to build a house on, and so I was in the truck coloring with my Caran d'Ache crayons, and it had the melty Caran d'Ache logo. This is like in the 80s. And I remember spilling them on the floor of the truck. And I remember this very clearly because my dad was one of the first people probably in Maine to have a cell phone. He had a Motorola, and it looked like a CB radio. And I remember just kind of reaching around the floor, picking up my crayons and looking at the Motorola cell phone, because it was fairly new at the time. It was like a CB radio, and it was like so expensive. It was like $1 a minute or something to call. It was like $10 and $1 a minute or something. I don't know. It was insane. But he would like call in orders from like lumberyards and stuff if he needed something, because time is money, and it would be worth it to just call it in and get it delivered. But yeah, it's a vivid memory. One of my earliest memories. And yeah, I think that wasn't a long ride. I just hate to be bored. But like my parents love to go for drives, like on the weekend. To this day, I hate going for a drive unless there's a destination or I'm going to be painting somewhere. And my husband loves to go for drives. So, like there's got to be lunch at the end of that tunnel. There's got to be something. There's got to be a scenic vista where I will paint, because, I don't know. I was like, I need a reason. We are driving this far and burning this gas and using this time. I'm a joy. What can I say? I'm a joy to be married to. So yeah, so we'll go for a drive and we'll end up at like a Thai restaurant and I'll be happy, but I will have a sketching kit with me. So heaven forbid I'm bored, I've got something to do, or heaven forbid I'm anxious, I've got something to do. But yeah, ever since I was a little kid, there's a color I absolutely hate because I got car sick, coloring with it once, and it's like, and I honestly think I was wearing a dress of the same color, and it was like this purple, this like very vivid fuchsia purple color, more purple than pink, and I still do not like that color because I associate it with being sick, being car sick. Isn't that funny, like the things that last in your psyche all those years? Oh, but maybe I'll refer to my list and we'll talk about something. Well, I guess that's adjacent, that's art adjacent. Oh, okay, so I have an idea. Full of ideas. Oh yeah, so did I have anything else to say about Mother's Day? Oh, Mother's Day was great. Like I said, saw Mom and Bri. Jackson came up and took me and Jason out to lunch because it was Jason's birthday last week, so it was a birthday Mother's Day combo, and that was really lovely. Maisie came up and she visited, and she brought some plants, and she went to the greenhouse with Jason, and they bought a bunch of plants, and she's doing landscaping. She's doing her landscaping. Oh my gosh, so finally, a person with a vision that knows what they're doing, because she did a bunch of landscaping on Monhegan Island last summer. She worked for a bakery, but like there was always like, it wasn't necessarily a 40-hour-a-week position, but you're room and board and whatnot, and food. I guess that's room and board. But during the downtime, there were other people that needed, that would hire the young people that were working there to do like landscaping and stuff. So she got to like doing flower gardens and things like that. So she got some experience with that and had all kinds of ideas. We're like, yeah, we would love you to do that. So she's been planting some flowers and things like that, knowing where things go. I don't have the vision when it comes to like planting things, gardening, any of the outdoor stuff. I like to go paint places that are already landscaped. I don't know, I don't get grossed out really, but I do not like digging in dirt. I love playing with clay, but I don't like digging in dirt. I don't like worms, and I have nothing against worms and bugs. I think they're wonderful and they should do their worm and bug things. I don't want worms and bugs on my hands. I get very, very ooged out about that. I don't know why, because I'm a special little princess apparently, but I will dig into the clay. And so, pottery shed. I stepped into the pottery shed this week and I'm like, yeah, I'm fixing this up. I have not touched the clay in so long. When I first got the pottery wheel, I was out in the pottery shed, made so much pottery, took it, had it fired, painted it, had it glazed, but they did the clear glazing on top, and the glazing was not good. It was too thin in some spots. There was some crazing, and I was so crestfallen after that. I put so much time and money into the pottery that I made, and to have that crazing on almost all of the pieces I made was just so I was just defeated. So I was so bummed out. So I didn't want to invest any more time in it. But I did bring the wheel downstairs into the basement thinking, well, maybe I'll use it in the winter, and I didn't. Because who wants to be mucking around in wet, cold clay in a wet, cold basement? It's just not a fun time. So the pottery wheel's back out in the pottery shed. I need to, but other things get stuck in there in the winter, so I need to clean that out. I did bring my clay down into the room before because I know that really shouldn't freeze. You probably could bring it back, but I think there are plasticizers in modern clay where like they can, it's not good to freeze them, or maybe it's just the moisture in there. Anyway, I brought it in. So bring that stuff back out and just clean it up and get it ready to go again, because even if I don't fire another single piece in my life, it's fun to work on the wheel. It's very meditative, and I can always just recycle the clay, re-wedge it, and do it over and over again. It can be my little meditation practice, because it's like I heard, I think it was in Julie Faye Van Balzer's latest podcast, they were talking about how, she was talking about how with like, if somebody has a hobby like running or dancing or playing guitar, nobody expects you to make a living with it. Nobody expects you to do anything with it. It's your hobby. It's enjoyable. If you dance, nobody expects you to be a professional dancer. But if you make like a craft, people will expect you to sell it or to turn it into like a side hustle or a side business. But nobody expects that of a runner. Or somebody who does something like that for a hobby. So I was thinking about, yeah, I could just make pots and I could just recycle the clay. You know, I did that for the ones I didn't like. I probably fired way too many things that really didn't need to be fired, because I have a lot of like just bisque fired stuff that after the glazing incident, I didn't want to bother underglazing it and then having them glaze it. So I don't know, or maybe I'll make non-food things like yarn bowls. That was really fun to make a yarn bowl. But who knows? But I want to get that cleaned up so I can use it. I think the girls would like to use it too, or any friends that want to come use it. It's just, it's nice to have. It's nice to have. I have room for it, so what the heck? Why not? Right? We need those little frivolous bits of joy in our lives. I know I have plenty of frivolous bits of joy, but I also have the tendency to try to turn them into a business on the side, and I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, I think it's because my parents are entrepreneurs maybe, that I've got like this, it's just too ingrained in me. I don't know. Oh my gosh, and I have a book to recommend, and it's not a novel, but it's a book I checked out from the library. It's called Art Before Breakfast by Danny Gregory, who has a YouTube channel, Sketchbook School, and he runs the Art Business Sketchbook School. And it is just, it's creative prompt after creative prompt after creative prompt, just different things you can draw going about your day. And it's just it's a pick up, put down type of book. It's whimsically illustrated. I recommend it. It's again called Art Before Breakfast. I'll link it down below. He has quite a few books out. I don't think I've read any of his before, but I'm thoroughly enjoying that, especially when I'm in a space where I can't really focus very well. I have not picked my cruise read yet, but somebody told me that there's a library on the cruise ship, and I looked it up, and you are absolutely right. Thank you so much for telling me that. I had no idea. So you know what? I think because my bag's heavy and I don't want to come anywhere near that 50-pound mark, because I don't want to pay an extra baggage fee. Oh, I hate baggage fees. We paid for one bag. So I think I'll just see what I can find in the library and go from there, because I do intend to do a lot of sketching. I'm so excited to fill this little puppy up, and I will share it. I'll probably do a live stream when I come back sharing this, and we can hang out. We can hang out. So yeah, I got products coming out this week at Craft World. They are going to be shipping to America. I don't think I mentioned tariffs in the video. I recorded it like 2 weeks ago, so I'm hoping that I did. I listened to it back. I didn't see that I did, but that's coming up next week. I'll have lots of videos all about it, so please just drop a like on next week's videos to help me out. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a